And we are live. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. Today is somewhat of a special day, if you will, or a new day when it comes to Shadow Code Radio reviews. Now I'm going to YouTube, and we're going to be known now as Sean P Reviews, even though Shadow Code Radio is still there. So, check me out on YouTube, Sean P Reviews. Look it up. Like, share, subscribe. This is going to be our first review as an official YouTuber, if you will. I've been doing this for a long time in my hip-hop group on Facebook, Hip Hop Roundtable, the review, and also the original Hip Hop Roundtable that we started several years back. If you're on Facebook, go check those groups out. With that, this is going to be our first review on YouTube. I'm excited about the YouTube world, and Reese, my co-host, is already on there. Check out the Torture Chamber and Torture Talk on YouTube. Those are his channels, and also in the future, more sooner than later, Shadow Code Radio will be on YouTube. We're going to do a live stream on Facebook and also on YouTube, where we're going to be in the flesh, via streaming app, so we could both talk with each other and interact and do our show how we usually do it. This time on the YouTube world. So it's a lot more exciting. So after all of that housekeeping, finally, after a week of deliberation and long listening and breaking down, dissecting songs, we are going to get to the breakdown and review of Kendrick Lamar's Mr.Morale and the Big Steppers. Biggest album of the year, most anticipation of the year for this project, and we're going to break it down top to bottom. I wanted to take my time and listen to this album so I could get an objective take, an objective review, because it was a very difficult album to grade. I'll just say that. But I had to let it grow on me for a week or so to really break down the songs, break down the vibe, the energy of it. So finally it's here. This is my official review, Mr.Morale and the Big Steppers. And also we're going to talk about, one, is this classic material? And two, has Kendrick Lamar now in his catalog made himself top 5 dead or alive as an all-time rapper? And who do you have ahead of him? Who are better MCs / hip hop artists ahead of Kendrick Lamar? So we're going to talk about those three. Things in our first YouTube Sean P Reviews. We're going to get started. So we're going to do what we've always done. Talk about what I like, what I didn't like, and we're going to sum it up all in the end. So let's get started. So what did I like? This is automatically the best content album of the year. The messaging and the content, the message that Kendrick Lamar has given through his music was excellent. I mean, the meaning behind this album, basically, the breakdown story of this album is a microcosm or a look at Black culture and what's wrong with Black culture today in 2022. Everything from dysfunctional, abusive relationships to some of the social, the political stuff and the hypocrisies that are going on in Black culture. He took on head on in this album. And I know what you're gonna say. That was sort of like To Pimp a Butterfly. However, this is different than To Pimp a Butterfly. This to me is more straightforward than To Pimp a Butterfly. I think it's more in your face, it's more aggressive in the tone in the songs where you get the message right away. You know what I mean? And um, Kendrick Lamar has, you know, made himself as to one of the best content and message behind the lyrics rappers of all time. I mean, he's there right there with Nas right now. I think he's better than Jay-Z. Yes, I said that. When it comes to content and meaningful content, he's better than Jay-Z. Yeah, I'm going there. Okay, I know some people aren't gonna like that, but hey, the truth is the truth. He has a lot of meaning behind what he says, and he does this in a very well done fashion. Secondly, like the other Kendrick Lamar projects, it plays like a movie. You know, you can sit down from the beginning to end and just, you know, get your popcorn ready and go, you know, from 1 all the way to 18, and it plays like a movie. It's a story that plays out. And Kendrick Lamar is a master of that, where you're hooked in. It has its low moments, its kind of comic relief moments, and it's kind of serious moments. That's what I love about this album is it plays like a movie. You know what I mean? So and of course the flows. I mean, his flows are out of this world on this album, along with his lyrics, which were top notch. I'm not gonna say he's the best lyricist of the year just yet, but he's up there. Let's just say. So okay, what songs did I like for this? All right, so it starts out um Untitled Grief, which was kind of like you know, a very unique song. At first I was kind of like, I don't know how to take this song, but it grew on me because the energy he comes with, how he switches his flow, and he goes from more like a chopping type of flow right into more of like a 90s, you know, era street vibe. I love that song. I love the content behind that. You know what I mean? That I'm different from y'all. Like y'all are doing all this hypocritical shit out there. I breathe different, you know. That's why I like how it starts. Then right into N95. This is one of the hottest songs of the year. You know what I mean? I like the drill, the kind of like drill kind of vibe that you get from the beat and from his cadence on there. Because I'm a fan of New York drill. You know, you get that kind of energy behind it. There's a lot of energy behind it. This is a banger, straight up banger. Probably the hottest song on here. Maybe one of my favorite songs on here. Worldwide Steppers is a little bit different. It because he goes into a spoken word vibe, and then he goes into more of a quick tempo flow. You know what I mean? But what I will say is that I love the message behind it. He has a reference. He references like you know, black relationships and blacks messing with black relationships with white women, the whole marrying out or dating out thing through his sexual experiences with white women. And I'm gonna let you listen to it, but I just think how he framed that was excellent. You know what I mean? Now, Die Hard, that was that song grew on me too. That's a radio record. Just a smooth, solid radio record. Nice to play in the ride, nice summertime vibe. And it's real chill. It's not anything special, safe radio record, but it's still good. And then I think some of his best bars are on Father Time. You know what I mean? Where he tackles a lot about you know, those growing up with no fathers in the home. You know, that's really the message behind that song, and I think that's one of the best. I think N95, Father Time, right there, and Rich Spirit, another, you know, good radio vibe. His flow on there and his energy behind that is just smooth. You know what I mean? Smooth cut. That's another one. And another standout cut, which is We Cry Together, which head on tackles the issues with black relationships today and the disconnect in dysfunctional black relationships in black America today. I love this record. I think right now, N95, when it's said and done, we're going to remember him for M95, for Father Time, We Cry Together. Definitely. Those are classic records right there. Classic Kendrick records, if you will. And that needed to be said. There's a large disconnect right now, which is off the beaten path from hip hop in black relationships today. You know what I mean? And statistics back it up. And this really looks at the emotional disconnect. Shout out to Taylor Page, who was the actress who read the bars in there. She's not a rapper per se. She did an excellent job. You know, that was like a movie. That was basically like a monologue. It's so classic. It's like a monologue for a play. So that's really creative how he did that. Another one is Count Me Out. That's just the way he builds. He builds from and the way they have the choir singing in the background. His energy builds in that, and you know it just goes right into like an inspirational, like energetic track. That kind of reminds me of something like Eminem or Kanye West would do in their prime, where you feel the energy behind that. That's one of my favorite joints on this album right here. And I think, and then I would say Silent Hill with Kodak Black. Excellent vibe record for the summer. That's the best. That's going to be the biggest hit off here, I think. And you would never think Kodak Black and Kodak Black and Kendrick Lamar worked together. But man, he did his thing on this. They really vibed well together on this track. Excellent, smooth beat, turn up track. Something you just kick back in your ride and you just, you know, vibe out to in your car for the summertime. Excellent summertime record. Love that record. I would say probably his best bars are Savior. That's another song with Baby Keem. And his best bars on there where he talks about, you know, the hypocrisies and basically the old adage that we're not your role models. Y'all shouldn't be looking at us as your role models, but you think that we are. And that whole message behind there is powerful right there. I mean, I remember Charles Barkley said something a long time ago, you know, as athletes, we don't have a responsibility as role models, you know. He spells it out in this song. Listen to that song about that, about Savior, you know. I love that record, talking about the hypocrisies in our community, the black community. Love that record. Then I would say the Auntie Diaries, another powerful message, talking about, you know, basically speaking about the LGBTQ and the trans community today and how it was viewed years ago. You know, nobody said anything about it with the ladies, but he, in a story form, he kind of spells it out. And then at the end, he kind of spells out, you know, who are we to judge? It talks about the judgment of the LGBT community too. Another powerful message. And I'd say the hardest beat on here would be Mr.Morale. Pharrell smoked that beat. Now, his flow is kind of choppy and his raps are kind of different to get around. This song I kind of struggle with for a minute, but the beat is so hard. It's fire, man. It's a fire record, and I'd say maybe the most powerful record on here is Mother I Sober, which takes head on the topic about young boys and black children being abused, sexual abuse. This album tackles a lot of subjects that needed to be said and people are afraid to touch. But he definitely talked about him on this album. I'll say that. And I'd say that's going to go down as a classic record on here. And lastly, Mirror, I would say, which is another vibe record, which talks about, more disconnect in relationships or what have you, and like what have the what have you done for me lately in a relationship context. So there's a lot to like on here. I like pretty much 90% of this album. What did I didn't like? I don't think the interludes were needed. The Rich interlude and the Baby Keem interlude, the Savior interlude and the Rich interlude, I don't think was needed. I don't think they added anything to the song. I think Kodak Black really didn't have anything to do with the Rich Spirit song after that. So, and which his bars were okay. I mean, I think Kodak Black is trash, but he did all right. But I just think it was not necessary. Even though the Savior interlude, Baby Keem did rap pretty well. I just think it was overdone. I don't think it was really needed. He could have taken them off and still got away. Well, not got away. Still had a smooth album. You know what I mean? And I would say Count Me Out. No, not Count Me Out. I like Count Me Out. But Crown, that song was just boring. That was probably the weakest song on there. That's definitely a skip. Definitely a skip. It was just boring, and the message was hot, but just how his delivery was slow and kind of whiny, I didn't really like that. I want to speak a little bit on the Purple Heart song. Now, I want to say that's a good record. It's a dope record. But I'll say it this way. It was the most disappointing record for me. Because it was good, but when you have Ghostface Killer and Kendrick Lamar, two of, I would be safe to say, top 15 MCs of all time, I want better. Maybe maybe it's me being nitpicky and selfish, but I'm sorry, I want better. I think Summer Walker ruined the song. Some of the shit she was saying on there, I'm like, this ain't your ratchet talk R&B CD, Summer Walker. Go do that on your own time. Don't bring it here. I think Kendrick and Ghostface Killer, if Kendrick had another verse and they just had somebody else singing on there, it would be a much better record. I think Ghostface had the best verse on there. He kind of out-rapped Kendrick on that. But I'm sorry, when you have Ghostface Killer and Kendrick Lamar, I expect better. It's a good record. Like, it's a solid 8, 7.5 to 8. I like it. But I just think Summer Walker brought that song down. And I just thought it was just okay and okay to decent in the end of the day. So, where are we overall with this? I was on the fence as far as, is this the best album of the year? But after a full week of listening, I've been swayed, man. This is a solid 9 out of 10. And right now, I would give this the edge as pole position because of the creativity, the flows, the energy, the way it plays out from top to bottom. This is the most complete album of the year. I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10. I would edge it a little bit over Pusha T's record because Pusha T was kind of limited in subject matter, even though the production is a little bit better than this. I say, yeah, the production is a little bit better. I think it's better than Benny the Butcher's record, which only plays to a street audience. You know what I mean? That's the best street album of this year. But those are my 3 contenders for album of the year. And then I'd throw in Ransom, who's got the best lyrics of the year. That's probably my top 4. But I think Kendrick went right up to pole position after this. Now, is it classic? I'm not gonna say that yet. I I still think Good Kid, Mad City is his greatest album, and I got to give an album at least 2 years, at least I would say at least 2 to 3 years before I really see it being classic. Could it get to classic? Yeah, absolutely it could. I think that Damn, believe it or not, I think Damn, I think that aged kind of that out of all of his albums, that was the album that kind of aged the least out of all of his projects. Damn, to me, I think is his fourth or fifth. But this, I would say, is on par with Section 80, and you could argue up there with his top three projects, definitely. So strong 9 out of 10. I would give this pole position as my best album of the year so far. We're halfway through the year, but Kendrick owned it. I read something today that it only sold 286,000 copies. And in comparison, Drake sold like 600,000, I think. Kanye sold like 400 to 500,000 or whatever. But I think that's acceptable. But what I want to point out about the sales is this just goes to show that the quality of music, which this clearly is a better album than Kanye's project last year, Donda, and Certified Lover Boy last year with Drake. People stream your brand. They don't stream the quality of the album. You know, you could accurately tell the quality of the album, you know, how many years ago, 15, 20 years ago, when everybody had to go out and buy a CD. The 286,000 is a strong number. It's kind of what you could say we expect, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is it should really sell more. But it's two things. It's really your brand today sells you. Kanye and Drake have the strongest brands in the game. You know what I mean? They're just more popular, followed people that they're interested in. So people are going to stream their songs more, even if it's at a mid-level. You know what I mean? Kendrick, he doesn't play social media like that. He's kind of like an antisocial guy. He's a married guy. He kind of does his thing. Like he's in Ghana now. Like he's not a guy that people are really interested in. You know, J. Cole sold about the most last year and had a top 5 album last year. Same thing with him. They're not interesting people. So that's why you can't go by sales. And at the same time, the younger generation, I think they're more into who they are as a person as much as listening for an album all the way through. As long as you got like 4 or 5 bangers on there, you stream, and they could care the fuck about the rest. So the sales are a little bit misleading, but that's why I explained to you why sales are so fraudulent today. I read it somewhere in our group. I think one of our members, Marcus Gleiss Little. Shout out to Marcus Gleiss. And also check out his projects. They're all over Spotify. He said something that numbers lie, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, and record sales don't lie. But at the same time, record sales don't lie, but they could be manipulated. They definitely can be manipulated. And today, I don't go by them because of your brand. You know what I mean? Kanye, the reason why Kanye and Drake sell that is because they are a much bigger brand than Kendrick. Kendrick is more of just more. I just want to do my artistry and define myself that way, which is really how it should be. But unless you're an interesting person and you're not in the tabloids and all of that, those people are going to sell more with mediocre music. That's just the way the game is. Is it fucked up? Yeah, it's fucked up. That's the reason why I think record sales today are a total joke. You know what I mean? People bring it up in our group and are always posting Billboard charts and stuff. But, I mean, 286,000 in 2003 was like the number 2 album, number 3 album. You know what I mean? And people actually went out to go buy records at that time. So it's fraudulent. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't, even though it's a good showing, I wouldn't make too much about it. So there's that. And then lastly, we got to talk about this top 5 dead or alive. So recently on Shadow Code Radio, I said that Kendrick Lamar, I think, has earned the right to be top 5 all time. As a rapper, hip hop artist. I have Nas and Jay-Z, which have the most longevity and most consistency as my 1-2. Pick your 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Pick your preference on either one. You know what I mean? They've all proved it. They've all accomplished everything in hip hop. So that's what that is. Biggie and Tupac would be my 3 and 4, because they have the longest legacies, where they're to the point where they're mythical figures. You know what I mean? Right now in the music game and hip hop. And then I would have to say it's Kendrick Lamar. I mean, where are the flaws? His catalog is damn near flawless. I mean, you could run down from Overly Dedicated, which was like a stream mixtape, to now. This only real weak point was Untitled Unmastered, and that was a B-cut CD of unreleased tracks, which was kind of mid to weak. But outside of that, everything is like just around like an 8.5 to a 9 or classic. I would say between 8.5 and 9.5 out of 10. You would average it out, it probably come to around a 9 out of 10. He has right now arguably the best catalog, or one of the top catalogs of all time. You know what I mean? And he's creative. His flows are innovative. His raps have messages behind it. He has hits. He has awards. He has accolades. What are you gonna do? And if he's not number 5, who is in that 5 spot? Who is better than him? You know what I mean? I know you want to talk Drake, but Drake puts out the same material. He just puts out the same material and he wins with it. But, and everybody says, well, Drake has to rap. He's got to rap more. I don't think he has to rap more. I think he needs to be more creative. And he don't have really a real classic behind his name. Kanye has been mid for a decade. Let's put it out there. I'm being generous saying he's mid. He's been trash on some stuff. And he don't know what direction he's got to go in. So I can't put Kanye over Kendrick, even though Kanye's 2000s was damn near flawless. Wayne, again, too inconsistent. When was the last time he put out a good album? I mean, he don't know if he want to be an auto-tune singer or a rapper, even though of late, he's been spitting on records. But Kendrick Lamar has been way more consistent. And Kendrick Lamar has been in the game since 2010. He has 10 years under his belt. So you can't use the argument anymore, oh, is Kendrick, he hasn't done enough. Well, he's got a solid decade plus in the game. What more do you want? How far you got to go, I know we had the J. Cole debate on our page. J. Cole is close, because I think J. Cole is rapping at his best right now, but he's not doing the things that Kendrick's doing with his flow, his dynamic ability to with his visual imagery, with stories and stuff. Nah, I can't put Cole over him or whatever. So even though Cole has made the debate closer, if you will. But yeah, man, he's my number 5. You tell me. I'm gonna leave it out to you. This is my first YouTube question for you YouTubers out there. In the comments, who do you have over Kendrick Lamar? Let me know. Let me know. I can't go more than 4 over than Kendrick Lamar right now. And I've been very critical of Kendrick in the past. But over these last 5 years, his layoff, I went back and I listened to his projects. I listened to what he's done. And I go to the drawing board. Like, who's topping him outside of the 2 dead greats, Biggie and Tupac, and Jay-Z and Nas, who are, the most consistent guys for 20 plus years. You know what I mean? Nas just had a run, damn near classic run with his Hit Boy projects. And Jay-Z hasn't put out an album in a while, but his last album, 444, was one of the most thought-provoking records, and he's 50 years old. So you tell me. But Kendrick Lamar is my number 5. Top 5 dead or alive right now, and prove me otherwise. You know what I mean? I know Eminem's felt. I think we had to get. I know we got a lot of M fans out there, M stands, whatever. He's fell off. He has fell off. He's not what he used to be. Eminem hasn't put out I would say a very good album in more than a decade. He's been decent at times, but he tries to do too much. Nah, M's too inconsistent too. Too inconsistent. So, Mr.Morale and the Big Steppers, strong 9 out of 10. Right now, my album of the year. And Kendrick Lamar, right now, is number 5. Number 5 rapper / hip hop artist of all time. You tell me who's better. Add in the comments. Let me know. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna come back with more reviews. Sean P Reviews. Look me up on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. And check us out. Shadow Code Radio is going to be back in some form this week. I don't know if we're going to do, if we're doing the live stream on YouTube yet. But worst come to worst, check us out on the Anchor app, Apple iTunes, and Spotify. Look up Shadow Code Radio. We're all there. So we'll talk to you, Shadow Code Radio, either this week or next week. And, we're here, Sean P Reviews on YouTube. Check me out. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll go from there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll check you all out later, all right? Peace.